Good day, everyone. Today, we'll delve into the basics of ethical hacking using virtual machines. Our focus will be on exploiting vulnerabilities, discussing mitigation strategies, and understanding various attack families. Our objectives for this session are threefold. First, to demonstrate the process of exploiting a vulnerability in a controlled environment. Second, to present actionable mitigation strategies to secure systems. And third, to educate on common attack methods and how they target organizational systems. Let's begin by examining how attackers typically gain access to systems. There are several common methods used by cybercriminals. Phishing attacks. Phishing attacks involve sending deceptive emails that appear to be from legitimate sources, aiming to trick recipients into revealing sensitive information or clicking on malicious links. Exploiting vulnerabilities. Exploiting vulnerabilities entails using tools like Nmap and Metasploit to scan for and exploit weaknesses in network and application configurations. Brute force attacks. Brute force attacks involve systematically trying all possible password combinations to gain unauthorized access. Social engineering. Social engineering exploits human behavior, such as trust and curiosity, to manipulate individuals into divulging confidential information. To counteract privilege escalation, we need to implement specific mitigation techniques. Here are some effective strategies. Implement least privilege principle. Ensure users have only the access necessary to perform their duties, minimizing the risk of misuse or unauthorized access. Regular patch management. Continuously apply patches and updates to software and systems to fix known vulnerabilities and prevent exploitation. Enable logging and monitoring. Implement logging and monitoring mechanisms to detect and respond to unusual or suspicious activities promptly. User account management. Regularly review and manage user accounts, including removing unnecessary accounts and ensuring strong, unique passwords are used. Next, we will define and categorize various attack families. Each attack type has unique characteristics and methods of exploitation. Attack families: buffer overflow, privilege, escalation, rootkits, trojans, backdoors, viruses, return-oriented programming, ROP, social engineering. A buffer overflow happens when a buffer receives more data than it can manage, causing it to overwrite adjacent memory. This can enable an attacker to run arbitrary code. Example: using a vulnerable login function to execute shell commands. Mitigation. We mitigate the risk by adopting secure coding practices, implementing address space layout randomization, ASLR, and deploying tools to detect memory anomalies. Privilege escalation involves exploiting flaws to elevate access rights, often leading to administrative control. For instance, a misconfigured SUID binary allowing root-level commands. Mitigation. Regular vulnerability scans and minimizing permissions for critical processes. Rootkits are stealthy malware that provide unauthorized root-level access while concealing their presence. Example: kernel rootkits that modify system calls to hide files or processes. Mitigation. Deploy rootkit scanners, conduct integrity checks, and limit kernel access. Trojans disguise malicious software as legitimate tools to trick users into installing them. For instance, a fake file-sharing application that installs malware. Mitigation. Endpoint protection tools, regular audits, and user education. Backdoors create hidden access points to bypass normal authentication. Example: malicious software installed to allow remote access. Mitigation. Implement strong access controls, regular network scans, and monitor for unusual activity. Viruses are malicious code that self-replicates and spreads across systems. Example: macro viruses in spreadsheets. Mitigation. Deploy antivirus software and disable macros by default. ROP bypasses memory protection mechanisms by chaining legitimate code sequences gadgets to execute malicious payloads, exploiting a buffer overflow with ROP gadgets to execute arbitrary code. Mitigation. Implement data execution prevention, DEP, and control flow integrity, CFI, to block such attacks. Social engineering attacks manipulate individuals into divulging sensitive information. Example: phishing emails that mimic trusted organizations to steal login credentials. Mitigation. Train employees to recognize phishing attempts and use multi-factor authentication. In conclusion, understanding these attack methods and implementing robust mitigation strategies are crucial for protecting our systems. Continuous education